As always, I thank you, those of you who join me for these messages and for your interest and concern. I've been speaking to you about that remarkable character, Father Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and the book that he wrote, The Human Phenomenon. Well, I was determined, if possible, to finish it today, and I did. Even though the day began with the wonderful infant Christmas pageant in Bishop Eton School, and I've just been over to a carol service in Hope University as well. But in between I got to the organ recital and the journeys there and back. I finished the book, and I earmarked a couple of passages which I thought I must share with you. Let me just share first of all this sentence as he speaks about scientific development and how in some ways it's replacing faith, or perhaps a faith of its own in some ways. But here he says, living as we do in a world that can justly be said to have been revolutionized by science, we have come to accept science's social role, its religion even. And yet we still continue to let it grow haphazardly, almost carelessly, like those wild plants whose fruits the primal peoples gather in the forest. All is spent on production, all is spent on arms, but still nothing, or almost nothing, for the scientist and the laboratory as they multiply our strength tenfold. Actually, we behave as though discoveries fall periodically ready-made from heaven, like sunlight or rain, and as though there is still nothing better for humankind to do on earth than kill one another and be killed or eat. If we make an attempt to establish what proportion of human energies are employed here and now in pursuit of truth, or more practically still, if we calculate the percentage of money reserved in government budgets for the investigation of problems that are clearly formulated and whose solutions are vital for the globe, we will be appalled. Less is spent annually for the consumption of research worldwide than for a battleship. That's very powerful stuff, isn't it? It's a very powerful reflection. He touches on this need for truth. This has been a preoccupation of mine. Truth is in short commodity, I think, these days, sadly. People seem to need to, as it were, write a new narrative for themselves to convince that what they're doing is okay sometimes. And this can be very challenging for all of us. I share this with you because I have found that I've been going through a very challenging period myself in recent times, and I need to reflect myself on where is the truth that I'm seeking. Of course, we know that Teilhard de Chardin discovered Christ, that he lived a Christian life from childhood, and he comes on right at the end to recognize the presence and the power of the Christian story. So again, let me just share a little bit of what he says here. Talking about it, he says, there is no doubt about its quantitative value, measured by the magnitude of its radius of action, but I will add that there is above all no doubt about its qualitative value, which, as in every case of biological progress, expresses itself in the appearance of a specifically new state of consciousness. This is his great concern, that the research should be into this consciousness of the human being, this interconnectedness of everything, which ultimately will lead to this omega point, to the culmination of the whole of our created world. But anyway, he then says, and here I am thinking of Christian love. And he goes on just to point out of how this has transformed people's life. He says, is it not positively a fact that for 20 centuries thousands of mystics have drawn such burning passion from its flame that their brilliance and purity far outstrip the impulses and devotion of any kind of human love? Is it not also a fact that for having experienced that love, other thousands of men and women daily renounce all ambition and joy except for the joy of laboriously abandoning themselves to it more and more? Anyway, there it is. I just want to share this with you because I'm always trying to suggest to you that we experience the presence of God through the interconnectedness of things and through the providential presence of God in our own lives. And I just want to share this personal experience with you this week. I was feeling very stressed not long before a funeral that I had to take here. I knew that my blood pressure was up. There were reasons for that, and I don't want to go into those tonight. But I then thought about that wonderful prayer that Father Bernard Herring, the German theologian, I still have a great reverence for him and the wonderful contribution he made to the life of the Church, to the Second Vatican Council, and to me personally, I'm so grateful that I got to know him before the end of my life, and I sent him a copy of my book when it was first published, the book on the thesis on the marriage question, and he wrote back to me thanking me for this precious book. But he taught us the prayer of breathing. And so I went away and I went into that prayer of breathing, where you simply take control of your breath. I think I've shared this with you in various occasions before, but you allow the breath of God, the Spirit of God, not just to fill your lungs, but quietly breathe in more and more deeply. Allow the breath of God to reach the tip of your toes, the tip of your fingers, the top of your head. Fill the whole of your being. And then as the prayer unfolds, you begin to breathe out and let go all the anxiety, all the worry, all the fear. You're seeking the truth which is God's presence with you. And gradually, over a half-hour period, I experienced an extraordinary peace. And my blood pressure came right down. I know it did because I actually checked it. And I was able to go out and celebrate Sarah Eccleston's funeral half an hour later. And it was I felt most privileged to be able to do so. So let me share that with you today and pray that the Lord will help you to the truth about yourself so that you discover the truth of the Lord's abiding presence, no matter how badly science is developing in our world today. The possibilities are still there if we remember what St. Paul said, it's when I'm weak that I'm strong, if we simply let the Lord take over. So with the prayers of Our Lady and of all our patron saints, may the Lord bless you as you seek the truth in your own life and as we strive to be interconnected, united through Christ with the Father and with each other. And may the Lord bless your homes and families tonight and throughout this preparation for Christmas. Amen.